Have you ever wondered, why do I feel dizzy, tired, or even faint after taking my morning blood pressure medication? Could it just be old age? Or is something else silently at play inside your body? A 68-year-old woman in Florida was rushed to the emergency room after losing consciousness following a seemingly healthy breakfast, one blood pressure pill, and a glass of fresh grapefruit juice. No one suspected that the sweet, refreshing juice had caused the medication in her blood to skyrocket to dangerous levels. Doctors call this a deadly drug interaction. And what's concerning is, hundreds of older adults face a similar risk every day without ever knowing it. While many believe that eating fruit is always healthy, there is a little-known truth. Grapefruit can alter how certain medications work in the body, making them either ineffective or toxic. In this video, you're going to discover which medications should never be taken with grapefruit, the mechanism that makes grapefruit dangerous for your heart and blood pressure, and crucially, safer alternatives to include in an older adult's diet. If you're caring for aging parents or you take prescription medication yourself, you'll want to watch this entire video. The information you're about to hear could be the very thing that helps you prevent a serious medical event down the road. Let's dive right in. Warning 1. Increased drug toxicity in your bloodstream. You might not realize that just one slice of grapefruit or a small glass of juice in the morning can make your medication exponentially more dangerous. At 60 and beyond, our bodies no longer process medicine as quickly or consistently as they did when we were young. Specifically, the liver and intestines, which help clear out excess medication, begin to slow down. And here's the thing, grapefruit can paralyze this drug metabolizing system. Scientists have discovered that grapefruit contains a natural compound that can slow the breakdown of drugs in the body. This means the medication you take, instead of being properly processed and absorbed, is retained longer, becomes stronger, and enters your bloodstream at a much higher dose than normal. Just imagine your body is like a valve that regulates the amount of medicine entering your blood. But when you eat grapefruit, that valve gets stuck, causing the medication to flood in, triggering serious side effects you could never anticipate. Some heart medications, cholesterol-lowering drugs, and sedatives or sleeping pills are very sensitive to this. When the dose becomes too strong, you might experience headaches, dizziness, digestive issues, liver damage, or even seizures without ever knowing the cause. The story of Richard, age 72, is a stark wake-up call. He had been taking blood pressure medication for years with stable readings, but when his daughter bought him some ruby red grapefruit and advised him to eat clean, live healthy, he started eating it every morning. After just 1 week, his blood pressure dropped suddenly, he fell down the stairs, and was hospitalized. Doctors said the medication level in his blood was more than double the safe limit, and the cause was none other than grapefruit. If you are taking any prescription medication, especially for your heart, blood pressure, or cholesterol, check right away. Does it interact with grapefruit? The good news is not all fruits have dangerous interactions like grapefruit. You can absolutely choose oranges, apples, berries, or grapes to get your necessary daily nutrients instead. Just one small change, choosing the right fruit, helps your body absorb medication correctly, avoiding preventable consequences. And this becomes more important than ever as we age, and our bodies grow more sensitive to every single pill. Warning 2, triggering an irregular heartbeat. Your heart already has to work harder after age 60, and you might not expect that a small interaction between grapefruit and your medication could send its rhythm into chaos. Quite literally. Many people assume an irregular heartbeat is caused by stress, anxiety, or an underlying condition. But there is a silent culprit few suspect: medication affected by grapefruit. Certain anti-arrhythmia drugs, sedatives, or strong antibiotics, when combined with grapefruit, can disrupt the electrical signals in the heart, causing it to beat abnormally fast, or conversely, too slow and erratically. You can imagine your heart is like a clock. If its internal mechanics are affected, even just one tiny gear, the entire timepiece will run incorrectly. It's the same with your heart. When its control signals are scrambled by a medication overdose caused by grapefruit, it can skip beats, flutter, or even stop in an instant. and the consequences can be devastating. Mary, 66, was an active person who loved her morning glass of fresh squeezed juice. After starting a mild antipsychotic medication as prescribed, she kept her old habit, making fresh grapefruit juice daily. After about 10 days, she began feeling her heart race, palpitations, and would occasionally feel faint while standing. She thought it was just hormonal changes or dehydration, but she was wrong. When her doctor checked, her EKG showed an abnormal heart rhythm, a typical reaction to medication levels becoming too high due to a grapefruit interaction. The heart is the only organ in your body that never gets to rest, even while you sleep. And every single skipped beat, however small, is your body's signal for help. When you eat grapefruit while on medication, certain compounds in the fruit can slow down how your body processes the drug. The result is an excessive buildup of medication, which then overstimulates your heart. Your heart rate can become chaotic, sometimes racing, other times abnormally slow, and you might not know until symptoms appear: palpitations, dizziness, or even fainting. I know you might be thinking, it's just fruit. But when grapefruit is combined with medication, it is no longer a healthy treat. It becomes a trigger for a hidden risk, especially for your already sensitive heart. The advice from cardiologists is clear. If you are taking any medication that affects your heart rhythm, avoid grapefruit entirely. It's not a matter of an occasional slice is fine. It should be eliminated from your daily diet. Because sometimes the very things we believe are healthy become a threat in disguise. Warning 3, increasing the risk of sudden death. None of us would think a piece of fruit could put our lives in danger. But in fact, medical literature in the United States has documented cases of sudden death simply because medication was taken with grapefruit. Sudden death, it's a terrifying phrase. But because it is so serious, we cannot afford to be complacent. In a Canadian report, a 68-year-old man died after taking his arrhythmia medication with a grapefruit juice for several days. The autopsy showed the drug concentration in his blood was 3 times the safe limit, with no other cause found. His family said he was always careful with his medication. The one thing he didn't know was that grapefruit was the silent saboteur of his entire treatment plan. What makes this so frightening is how quietly it happens. No pain, no warning signs, just a moment of dizziness, then a loss of consciousness, and it's all over in minutes. For older adults, the ability to handle changes inside the body is significantly reduced. When a medication, like a sedative, blood pressure drug, or opioid painkiller, is amplified by grapefruit, the body doesn't have time to warn you. The central nervous system is suppressed, blood pressure plummets, the heart rhythm is disrupted, and all internal rescue responses are virtually disabled. Many older adults have a habit of taking medication before bed, but if that is combined with a dinner that includes a grapefruit salad or a glass of juice to be healthy, you may have unknowingly put your body in danger while you sleep. Silently, quietly, and with no one realizing until it's too late. We are not saying this to scare you, but we must be clear so you understand that small decisions, like which fruit to eat, can be the line between safety and danger. Dr. David Bailey, a Canadian researcher, once made a chilling statement. Grapefruit is the fruit that can turn a normal dose of a drug into a fatal dose, and few people know it. No one is stopping you from eating grapefruit if you are perfectly healthy and not on medication. But if you are undergoing treatment, then continuing to consume it, even a little, might be the biggest risk you ever take without realizing it until it's too late. Life doesn't just depend on good medicine. It also depends on understanding every small interaction in your lifestyle. If you're still watching and find this information helpful, please comment with the number 3 below to let me know. And if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating more helpful and inspiring content. Warning 4, reducing treatment effectiveness. Here's a paradox few people consider. You take your medicine diligently every day, at the right dose and time, but your condition doesn't improve and may even be getting worse. What could be the cause? It might be the grapefruit you have every morning. Grapefruit doesn't always increase a drug's toxicity. In some cases, it does the opposite, rendering the medication ineffective. making the pill you take completely useless. The reason is that grapefruit doesn't just make drugs stronger in the blood, as mentioned before, it can also obstruct the medication's pathway inside the body. In other words, instead of letting the drug get to where it needs to work, grapefruit causes it to get sidetracked or held back, drastically reducing its effectiveness. You can picture it like this. After a drug is absorbed, it needs to be transported to various organs to do its job. But grapefruit, with its transport inhibiting mechanism, creates a traffic jam, preventing the drug from reaching its destination. The result, the medication doesn't work as expected, even though you're taking the correct dose. The case of Linda, age 70, is a classic example. She was prescribed an antibiotic for a urinary tract infection. She took her pills regularly, never missing a dose. But after 5 days, her condition hadn't improved at all. At her follow-up appointment, her doctor was surprised the infection was still present. Finally, after reviewing her diet, he discovered her problem. She ate half a grapefruit every morning. That simple act had diminished the antibiotic's effectiveness, an interference no one had warned her about. And for patients being treated for high cholesterol, if they take statins while continuing to eat grapefruit, the drug's lipid-lowering effect can be severely compromised. You might think your cholesterol is under control, but your body could still be silently and dangerously accumulating plaque in your arteries. Treatment failure doesn't just waste time and money, it also creates a dangerous illusion that the medication isn't strong enough or the disease has worsened, leading to dose increases, new prescriptions, or even unnecessary invasive procedures, all because of a seemingly harmless fruit. So if you find your medication isn't delivering the expected results, don't just think about changing your prescription. Start by asking a simple question. Have I been eating grapefruit lately? Because sometimes effective treatment isn't about adding more medication. It's about subtracting a little grapefruit. Warning 5. Interactions with cardiovascular drugs. If you are taking cardiovascular medication, please take a few moments to listen to this part very carefully. This is the class of drugs most severely affected by grapefruit, and it's also the group of medications most commonly used by people over 60. The cardiovascular system is one of the most sensitive systems and is easily impacted as you age. To control heart rate, blood pressure, and cholesterol, doctors often prescribe specific medications. And what you need to know is this: many common heart medications, including those for hypertension, arrhythmia, and high cholesterol, can all be seriously compromised if taken with grapefruit. The problem is, this interaction doesn't just increase toxicity or reduce effectiveness, as we've discussed. With heart medication, it can disrupt your entire treatment rhythm, causing unpredictable consequences: a sudden drop in blood pressure, an abnormal spike in heart rate, coronary artery spasms, or disordered electrical conduction in the heart. Daniel, a 75-year-old from Arizona, was hospitalized with shortness of breath and a squeezing pain in his chest. He was being treated for high blood pressure and high cholesterol with 2 common cardiovascular drugs. When his doctor asked about his daily routine, he said, "I just eat healthy, half a grapefruit, and some oatmeal every morning." The doctor immediately told him to stop eating grapefruit, and his condition began to improve within a few days. The issue is, not everyone is carefully warned about this by their doctor when receiving a prescription. Some prescriptions might have a small note: avoid with grapefruit juice. But for older adults with declining eyesight and memory that's no longer as sharp, it's easy to overlook or misunderstand the true meaning of that warning. What's remarkable is you don't need to eat a whole grapefruit for it to be dangerous. Just a small amount, like a few segments or a small glass of juice, is enough to create a significant effect that can last for up to 72 hours. If you are being treated with cardiovascular medication, what you need isn't a new prescription, but a clear understanding of what to avoid, even things that seem healthy but can backfire. And grapefruit, unfortunately, is one of them. You don't have to eliminate all fruit from your diet, but you do need to know what medication you are taking and whether your favorite fruit is truly appropriate for your situation. For a heart already working hard due to age, give it a chance to be at peace by starting with the simplest things, like stopping grapefruit if you are on heart medication. We've walked through an uncomfortable truth. that a seemingly harmless fruit like grapefruit can increase drug toxicity, trigger an irregular heartbeat, reduce treatment effectiveness, and even lead to sudden death, especially if you're taking cardiovascular medication. Things that seem small, like a glass of juice or a slice of fruit, can have enormous consequences. And even more worryingly, many older adults have no idea they are facing this risk every day. So this isn't just a medical story. This is your story. You might be healthy, taking your medication regularly, and eating a healthy diet. But if you maintain a habit of eating grapefruit while on medication, all your efforts could be getting derailed by that very fruit. The good news is you have the power to change that, starting today. Read the instructions on your prescription carefully, ask your doctor about any fruit you regularly consume, and if necessary, confidently replace grapefruit with safer options like oranges, apples, or berries. You don't need to be a pharmacologist to live well. You just need to be mindful enough and to love your body enough, and just one small change can make a huge difference on your journey to a healthy life after 60. If this video helped you realize something important, please leave a comment and share your thoughts with me. You can also help the people you love by sharing this video with them, because they may have never heard anyone talk about this before. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to make informed choices, live well, and actively protect ourselves every single day.